Good evening and welcome to Girlfriend Minute. I am Shar.
And I'm Pascal.
How are you this evening, Pascal?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm tired,
I
but I'm
bet.
okay.
How are you faring? My goodness. Milton did you in?
Hurricane number two.
Yes.
Yeah, Helene and Milton, they were just not nice guests.
No. They were not.
They were uninvited.
Yes.
They overstayed their welcome.
Yeah. No kidding.
They did not pick up after themselves.
They sure didn't. They just made a mess of the house.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
joking
like
aside, it's
that's
it's devastating.
mm-hmm.
It's sad. Um, but what are you gonna
Yeah.
do?
I
You
mean, I
know,
guess the only thing you can do is pick up the pieces and do your best to clean up.
that's all
Uh,
you do.
Help others, and that's it. That's all you
Yeah,
can do.
that's all you can do. I'm more fortunate than many others, so I've got
Mm-hmm.
nothing to complain about. Um, you know, some people always can find something to complain about, and that's kind of what tonight's topic is about. But I went 3 days this time without power, and look at me, I lived. Lo and behold,
Yeah. And here we
so.
are doing the podcast. I mean, we
Yeah,
did
we are
something
late.
right,
We
right?
are late. Yeah,
We
we're
are.
late because we were going to catch up, and then there were a couple hurricanes, and the one left me without power, and then Pascal had a wedding,
Yes.
and then I got my
Ended up
power
coming in
back.
late.
Yeah, you came in really late, and which is
Hmm.
fine because I was done. I was, had been melting for a few days, so I was,
Right, I
I
bet.
was
Yeah.
done. And I will say that Milton brought a little cooler, drier air, so it wasn't as god
I
awful. It
heard.
wasn't in the 90s, it was in the 80s.
Yeah, I heard. I heard. I had
But
my
we'll take
girlfriend down
whatever.
there too.
Yeah.
I was talking to her yesterday, and she was telling me, 'cause I check in on everyone to make sure that everyone was okay during this whole hurricane process. And she was telling me that one of her back rooms, actually, the roof flew off of that section
Hmm.
back there, so the room is completely totaled. It's
Yeah.
gone, and she's gonna have to rebuild and do whatever it is. But that's the only really bad thing that happened over there on her side. She lives in Pinellas Park,
Hmm.
so that's the only thing over there that happened. But she feels as though there was some kind of small tornado-ish action happening. I'm not sure if it's a
Well,
full tornado, but it's
in
probably the
Florida, we
wind.
don't get tornadoes like Tornado Alley and all that. Matter of fact,
No,
Dennis was
no,
talking about
yeah.
it before we started podcasting because there was an F2 tornado, E2,
Mhm.
something
Mhm.
two tornado, and it took out a solar field. It took a path right
Oh
out of
my
it. And in
gosh.
Florida, typically our tornadoes aren't rated because they're nothing. Believe it or not,
Right.
they can come and destroy a building. They can kind of be nothing. So, but you're talking about sitting here through a Cat 3.
Yeah.
And there were times where I was standing at the sliders watching, because I'm watching my trees just do this. And I would put my hand on the glass and it would bow so much I would step back.
Oh wow.
Because I have sliding doors. They're not hurricane. They are
Doors,
wind
yeah.
resistant because I have built-in blinds. I have the built-in blinds because the dogs kept taking out the verticals. So I got tired of replacing them. So I just had them built in. And with their built into the glass, they don't make them hurricane resistant. At least five
Mhm.
years ago, they didn't, but they are wind resistant. And the windows in the back are all newer. And I didn't board any of those, just the front windows that were older, the two. And I'm glad I did because some of the limbs that came down, you would have taken them out and then I would have had a bigger problem
Yeah.
during the middle of the storm with shards of glass and stuff. But we had an oak limb fall and hit the shed and dent it. And I have a palm tree leaning. It's in my yard, and the
Mhm.
oak tree from next door, when the limbs comes over into my yard, is holding it up. So I do have to have someone come out and remove that before another one comes, and then I'm picking it off of someone's house, mine or next door,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Well,
I'm
let's
responsible
hope
for it. So
let's hope nothing else comes.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was interesting to watch. A Cat
Well, it was
3
rough for you
did
guys.
did a lot of
I
damage. It was
Mhm.
crazy to watch actually, and the sounds you hear. And I can't imagine being here for a Cat 4 or 5. I won't. I've always said that.
Mhm.
Anything over a Cat 3, I would be out of here, and I agree with that. I would stay for another Cat 3
Yeah.
because it didn't come directly at us. Um, I mean, it was close. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't
Right.
right here, and that does make a difference. And I wasn't panicked or stressed during the storm. I bought a little radio last year, a little
Okay.
hand crank radio, but you can charge it too. So I had pre-charged it uh, in a USB, and then when it dies, you can hand crank it and get it going again. I could listen to Dennis on one of the stations that
Okay.
broadcast him because I had no power while the storm was going on. And
Mhm.
believe it or not, I find comfort in listening to him during the whole thing. And I had a few friends reach out to me, and I was sending them updates and stuff. I was not panicked. I wasn't chewing my nails. I was just like, it is what it is. I stayed. And for three, I'd much rather be here than come home to I don't know what.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you were talking about it being category 3, I had remembered when we were younger back in the 80s, in the mid 80s, and Hurricane Elena hit.
Well,
Um,
she didn't hit here.
no, she didn't
Yeah.
hit there directly, but we got the outskirts of all of that. So I remember staying home. We did not have electricity. My dad had a radio, but the winds were terrible. But we were off from
Well, we were all from
that
school. The
section.
beaches were evacuated.
Yeah.
So I lived on the beach and we were evacuated. And the reason we were evacuated because she had stalled and they didn't know if she was going to turn and go to Texas or wherever. She went into through Louisiana.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think she was. I did look it up. I don't remember what it said about her and her size, but um,
Well, I just
I
looked it up now. It said it was a category 3 as
it was a
well.
cat 3, yes. But I lived on the beach then. We had no flooding. And I lived
Yeah.
on the intercoastal. We did have sand, and because she sat out in the Gulf and churned, I remember there was this. It's called Kooky Coconuts now, the store at the end of 8th Avenue. It used to be called Little Egg Basket or Chicken. It had all kinds of names. It's over 100 years
Okay.
old. It's a little historic building. It was my
Hmm.
bus stop, and behind it, right on the Gulf, about a block behind it, or half block, whatever that's called, there was an old wooden Victorian style house. And because back then we didn't have beaches like we do today on Indian Rocks Beach. You walked out, you had a seawall, and then you had 3 cement steps and you went down. And if it was a high tide, you had no beach. There was no beach
Yeah.
like it is today. That was all brought and dredged in. So
Hmm.
because it sat out there and churned, it destroyed that Victorian house because me and my friends went and for the first time we were able to look in
Oh.
it and it was leaning. The whole house was leaning. So we probably shouldn't have been that close looking at it, but we had our heads in the door.
Oh.
Because we were curious,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I was in 7th grade. How can you not be curious? So
Yeah, no,
we were curious
it
and,
didn't hit. It was off the
no,
peninsula or whatever,
yeah,
but
she did a little
um
loopty and then she went on her way, but they
yeah.
evacuated us because they're just like, we don't know what it's going to do. Obviously technology's come a long way since 85
Oh,
and,
definitely.
but,
Yeah,
I
I
remember
even
going.
that, just through that, I mean, being a little kid and going through what I was 12, 13 years old, 12, I think,
Well, I
and
was in
going
seventh
through
grade. So
that,
what is that? 12? That is 12,
12,
right?
I
Yeah,
think.
that's
Yeah,
12. I don't
12.
know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And just seeing the tree in the backyard like come and kiss the ground and then come right back up. It it wasn't to me, of course, being a kid, it was like, oh my God, this tree's gonna fall on the house and blah blah blah. But I didn't know now, like
Yeah.
Hurricane Milton and Helene, was coming and it came straight at Florida. So it's a little
Yeah.
bit different than Elena, but well, a lot of
Yeah,
bit different than
a
Elena,
lot of
but
it different because this is the first hurricane to come in our area in 103 years.
yeah.
And with Elena, because my canal where I lived, the Publix on Indian Rocks Road, there's a park
Hmm.
behind there, Bonner Park. And if I go out on Bonner Park and I stand on the dock with binoculars, I could look at my house because the canal was right across from it. And we would go check during the storm our house during this to know what we are going
Hmm.
to come home to because we had
Sure.
binoculars and we could look. And so we lost a palm tree in the front, the top foot over.
Yeah.
And there was sand everywhere, but because she sat out there and was deciding for
Right.
days
Where to go.
where
Yeah.
to go and what to do. So I don't remember too much about it, to be honest. I just
Yeah.
know that there was no flooding and there was no mass destruction like there was with
No. Yeah.
Helene and Milton.
Well,
So,
they came right at you. So that's a whole nother
you know,
story.
it is a whole nother story. Also, the waters are a lot warmer
Mm,
and it's called science. So some people are like, oh, that's not true. Well, where's your degree?
right. But it is true.
But it is true. And that was one thing Dennis Phillips was saying after Helene. Now, hopefully it cooled it enough that Milton won't grow. Well, he was like, damn, it didn't. He was
Right.
wishful thinking. He also
Exactly.
said tonight on his update, he was talking about how there is a lot of kindness and people reaching out and people feeding the linemen that are here from all over. We have
I
people from
saw.
California, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, all here sleeping wherever.
Mhm.
There's some kind of company. There's an Airbnb on my street. They have rented the house and all their trucks are out there. Like 4 or 5 trucks, and they're
Mhm.
trying to stay off to the side, and we don't care. They're here to help clean up the water and stuff, debris on
Yes.
the beaches. So it's all good.
Mhm.
But there are those who show their true colors and how ungrateful and who they really are, and it's a shame because
It is a
everyone that
shame.
lives in this area, we're all in the same boat. This happened to
Absolutely.
all of us, including you making the comments.
Right. Right.
I mean, it, people complaining about, I read to you, well, I told you I had a patient today. Now I get to listen to everyone's generators. I was like, yep, I've got one. And she got quiet.
Yeah. Well, you need them. I mean, it's not like
Yeah, so if you're jealous that you don't have one,
go get
you
one.
too can buy one, and you can probably
Yeah.
order one. And even though it's past storm, you can have it for next time, so you have nothing to complain about. You can too
Correct.
join the generator family.
Exactly.
There are
Well,
people.
she's older. Is she older? She's a
Well,
lot
not
older.
so significantly older than me. I'm talking or us. I mean, she's probably 63,
Mm.
64.
Oh yeah, that's not. I figured
No,
maybe she has stuff delivered to her and she doesn't have like, she lives alone or something or doesn't. But that
no,
it's still not an excuse
no. Her
for
and her
being
husband lived on
ignorant.
the water. They rented a house on the water.
Hmm.
They have decided they will not be renting again on the water. Um,
Surprise.
right? They didn't want to go through it again. They don't like having their whole life out at the curb. They don't like listening to the generators. I'm like, well, then you better get out of this whole
I
county.
was gonna say, what did they move to Florida for? Like, I
Yeah,
don't.
why are you here?
Yeah.
I mean, they had nothing nice to say. And it's just really disheartening because I mean, I was only without power for 3 days. I was able to save everything in my refrigerator because I had the generator. I had box fans going. I was able to plug in a microwave and nuke some soup and have a warm hot meal.
Sure.
I I could
And
plug in my
some people
Instapot,
can't, and some people have none of that.
and some people have none of that. But I
Right.
made the decision a few years ago to help myself after Irma and losing everything.
Yep.
So that's why I have the generator because I did it once. I thought
Absolutely.
I didn't really enjoy this, so we're going to try to make it a little better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just and people complain about the taking too long at the gas pump. Well, I'm going to fill my truck. Not me. I actually filled up right before the hurricane, and because it was time for me to fill up, I wasn't hurricane prepping. My truck
Hmm.
said please refuel, so I did.
Please
It's
feed
very
me.
it's very polite. It legit says please.
Oh, that's funny.
and, um, and then if I had to fill up my gas cans while there, I would fill them up if I was getting gas. My poor kid, he ran in the middle of the night to the gas stations and got in an hour-long line to fill our gas cans. And I'm sorry, they can only pump so fast when everyone's pumping at the same time.
Right. Just chill.
So just hush and get
Just
in
sit
line,
sit in your car and be
look at your
quiet. Listen
Facebook.
listen to the radio. I mean, there's lots of things to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I sit there and say I was without power for 3 days, yet at night I could plug in my Netflix and I could stream. So
Yeah,
my
see?
TV.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
was warm, but I was enjoying my show.
Yeah. That's okay. That's better, than
I mean, I just stayed home. I didn't go out anywhere. I just was waiting for the power to come back on. So,
yeah. Yeah.
we all are in the same boat. If you live in
Yeah, so
Florida, on
instead
the
of
West Coast,
complaining, why don't they assist? Why don't they help? Why don't they see if someone out there needs some help or some assistance? Instead
uh,
of sitting there and bitching and crying and doing all stuff because a hurricane came in. Well, that's the risk that you take to live in a state that is off the water like that.
yeah,
So,
I mean, it's a choice to be here. So, what someone who moved here from a different state said, y'all ain't from Florida or even taking on the Florida lifestyle, and it shows big time. Thankfully, I never needed sugar or ketchup. I've never seen a group more divided. Full disclosure, I am not from Florida, but I'm from the country and we take care of each other. Where I come from, we would be giving our neighbors a gallon of gas to keep their generator running. We wouldn't complain about them running while I'm sleeping. We wouldn't complain at the gas pump about someone taking too long. We would get out and ask if they needed help. I understand that I'm not from here, but I bring my morals to this place. We're all human. We should treat each other as such. This isn't for everyone, but the ones that know who they are, you know who you are. And that's true. You see some people complaining on Facebook, and I don't understand why they're getting on Facebook complaining, because some of it's on their own page. It's not like they're just getting on the Seminole Happening page and posting
Right.
anonymously. You know you're going to get torn a new one.
Yeah.
You know you will be verbally attacked.
Right.
Do you have nothing better to do? You can think what you want. It doesn't mean you have to post it because you have social media.
Absolutely. You can have your own opinion, but you don't need to post it out so that everybody can hear it, because you will be attacked and you will be put in your place. I'm sorry, but and stop whining over stupid shit. Get out there and help the people that have nothing. No food, no water, no anything. Not even a house anymore to live in. So
Well,
go help them. Stop complaining.
People can be pretty ungrateful, and
They can.
they show you their true colors, and it's sad. So that was why I posted the question on Reddit. Are people really that unhappy? Because I hear people make comments and complain about ridiculous things all the time. But this was the topper for me because we all went through it. It wasn't
Mhm.
like, 10 people were affected. Thousands of people were affected across the state
Exactly. And
in
that's
all
what
different ways,
that's why I don't understand. Like, even I'll give you a different type of scenario. So up here we get, snow and blizzards and things like that. But if we see our neighbor and we have a snow blower and we see our neighbor does not, and they're shoveling like snow that is like 3 feet, 4 feet high, we're going to go and help them with our snow blower. We're not going to go just let them shovel everything by hand. I mean,
No.
I don't understand why people are not more like that.
Well, and to say that there aren't more like that, I mean, we have a lot of people reaching out. We have a huge amount of linemen here from all over, and we are so grateful for them. You have no idea.
Yeah, I saw them on the news.
No way I can repay them.
Mhm.
I mean, I tell them thank you. I beat my horns at them and wave, and they wave back. But as I'm cruising by, but I don't have the means to do anything more than that. But the
Yeah.
few who get online and complain, and it's not a huge amount, but it's enough that it's caught people's attention. You need to not be online. You need to have your Facebook privileges revoked for posting your ignorant thoughts,
They should,
feelings, and
yeah.
opinions.
They should, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they really
Like,
should.
I don't think they should be allowed to do or say anything like that, especially on
Yeah.
social media.
If you can't be a decent human and you're not for the human race, I'm gonna need you to go.
It's almost like, listen, some of these people probably have never suffered an ounce of suffering in their life. And I'm not talking about suffering, oh, boo-hoo, I'm going to go home and cry in bed, that kind of suffering.
Yeah.
I'm talking about real, true
trauma, suffering. Yeah.
No food, no lights, no nothing, no home, no anything, having to fend for yourself. And that's why I think they can comment the way they comment, because, they feel as though they're entitled to do so because, hey, I mean, yeah, why do I have to listen to all these generator? God, my ears. Oh, please, give me a break. Give me a break.
Yeah. And, it's also, people are like, oh my God, what is everyone going to do about all this debris? Well, there's nothing we can do. You got to put it in perspective. There's piles and piles. I mean, some of the piles are so high you can't see people's houses out from the curb.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all human. Where do you think they're going to put it all? The dump trucks. Take time. They got 120 dump trucks in here right before Milton.
Mm-hmm.
They asked for, I forget how many, 120 came, which was more than what they asked for. And they were police escorted dump truck lines. They were escorting them, sirens, and they were hauling down to the beach, loading up and hauling them out, and
it's going to take time.
Trying
this is not
to lessen the debris and stuff. But people who
Right.
don't live on the beach and stuff making their comments, what are they going to do? Well, they're doing the best they can.
That's it.
They're probably a little panicked too, realizing what this can imply with the winds and flying debris and what can happen. We all
Mhm.
know all that. We don't need to be educated on that. You
Mhm.
know, where are you going to put it all? Where do you want them to put it all? And how
Maybe
many
drop it
people
at
do they
their
have?
house.
Right? And how many people
Mhm.
do you think they have to do this?
Exactly. Like
Our people
just
were doing it, and then an additional 120 dump trucks came, and they
right.
were all police. So when a sheriff pulled up in the intersection and flew on his lights, everyone just stopped because here they were
Yeah.
coming off the beach, and then a
Yeah.
minute later they're coming this way off the beach. Just they're doing the best they can, and everyone's working around the clock. You got to just what's gonna be is gonna be.
Yeah, that's it. It's not going to be done overnight.
No,
It's the disaster that has occurred is more than a week, more than a day, more than a month. It could take a couple months to get everything done.
it's gonna be
I mean,
years before our beaches are the same, or
well,
even
the
close
beaches for sure,
to
but
being
like
the
the
same.
homes and the debris,
It's going to be
you
a
know.
year before they're able to probably live in their house again because
Oh,
how many
yeah.
contractors? I mean, there's people coming from all over the state trying to help, but they still got to get the workers here. I mean, it's just
Correct.
you don't. I mean, people just don't understand. I mean,
Because they've never lived it, so they're not there witnessing, and they're not there seeing it for on firsthand, so they have no idea how things work. And okay, well, I understand, but at the same time, like, you can't be ignorant. Like, you should know. Like,
you know,
I mean,
and I'm
it's
just
gonna
sitting
take
here.
time.
And people are like, don't you get upset? I get upset about things, but I get upset about I can't control this. And
No.
I mean, you have to realize people are looting.
Oh, yeah.
So now people are showing more of their true colors. So the beaches have 24/7 cops.
Yeah.
You can't go a block without there being a deputy sitting there. So everyone's working and putting in extra hours to protect what's left because people are rude
Yeah.
and disgusting and crude. Some of them, not
Hmm.
all of them, but there are some enough that they feel the need that they have to protect what's left. All of
Well,
our beaches were devastated.
yeah.
Not one person was spared.
Wow.
Some people died trying to get out.
Yeah.
Just shut up about the generators.
Hmm.
Shut up about the gas lines.
Yeah. And thank
Just,
God for everything that you already have.
you know, seriously.
That you're living, number one.
Correct.
That's the main
Correct.
one, is that you're living and
I
you're
know
alive.
someone whose boyfriend died during Helene. And I don't know why he didn't get out sooner. I would assume, based on knowing what I know about him, which is very little, is that he was probably helping his neighbors as well. But when
Hmm.
they found him, he had head trauma and he drowned
Mm.
because it came in that fast. And
Wow.
he just didn't have, they
Didn't
said
have
that
time.
he
Yeah.
didn't have the wits about him to get out that fast after whatever the fall or whatever happened to him.
See,
He
it's
was, he
so
was
sad.
55 years old.
Right. It's so
And he was
sad.
leaving. His girlfriend was waiting for him. She's on Facebook. Has anyone heard from? I can't get a hold of him.
Yeah.
Anyone. I've tried reaching out to different people. I'm not getting answers.
Hmm.
Yeah. In the meantime, the poor guy, and she's
Right. And
looking
here
for
we
him.
have people over here complaining about stupid generators and noises.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
I have no
Shows where
patience.
your priorities are.
Well, it shows the type of person you are.
Yeah.
It shows your true colors.
Hmm.
Don't worry about the debris. They're going to get to it. They're aware of the situation. They knew there was another hurricane coming. They were doing the best they can with what they had. It's
Exactly.
that simple. No one needs to be told that there's going to be flying objects. It's a Cat 3.
Right.
Winds of 120. We know there's going to be flying objects.
Right. What did you think was going to happen? It was just going to say hi and then go
Yeah.
by? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we know all this, but it is what it is. You
Yeah, and
know,
it's just going to take time. People have to, learn patience and have their patience. And, this is something that it came in for as many hours as it came in, produced so much devastation and ruin. And then now it's up to, the people around those areas to clean it up and help, and the city and the states and all of that stuff, and people from outside coming in. That, I mean, that's wonderful. But yeah, it's going to take time. It's not a 1, 2, 3 project.
It is not. It's a
No.
huge process. People have to have their walls cut out. They have to be
Hmm.
dried out. They have to be primered and painted for mold prevention. At least that's how they did it for us in the No Name Storm in
Right. And some
92 when
people
our
have
walls were
to,
cut out. So,
mm,
I mean,
and some people have to have their poor houses put into trucks because they're completely demolished.
yeah, I mean, just,
So come on now.
let's all just grow up and stop whining and stop being entitled,
Right.
you know,
Stop being nasty.
to be a decent person. And
Exactly.
for those who have been helpful and kind, this isn't geared towards you. It's for those who aren't. And trust me, there are those that aren't. There's always those
Yeah.
that aren't.
Oh,
I
all,
would hope that they
always,
would not
everywhere,
post just to
anywhere.
stir the pot. I
Yeah.
just, so I posted that and there were lots of questions. So, or responses, and they were long. I did not write them down. I'm just going to read
Mm-hmm.
them because
Sure.
I'd still be writing.
Excessive.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think people are overworked, underpaid, exhausted, living in a politically charged era where we have access to all the world's information at our fingertips. Sometimes it's hard to be happy knowing that what others are experiencing, not knowing what others are experiencing at the moment. I try to be positive and center myself to know there's nothing I can do to save others that are experiencing war, natural disasters, etc. You can't control this, but by the same token, I'm underpaid, I'm overworked, I'm exhausted, I'm sick of how nasty people are over politics.
Mm-hmm.
Vote for who you want to vote for. Don't be nasty,
Well,
because that
yeah,
says more
I'm gonna,
about you than it does about,
right,
people have been voting for who they want to vote for ever and a day since it started. So,
right.
when you start, I don't
But that's
worry
not an
about what
excuse to
my
be
neighbor
nasty.
does. I
Yeah,
don't,
that's
I don't even know their name. So it doesn't.
well, like you said, we are overworked, we are underpaid, we are feeling all the stressors that there is around us right now.
Mhm.
But that doesn't give us the excuse to be a nasty person towards each
No,
other.
no,
Instead of doing that, be helpful. Don't be nasty.
yeah.
Ask, can I help you? Can I this? There's a couple of times where, like, I was asking somebody, I don't know what they were doing. I was out somewhere, and I said, "Oh, can I help you with that?" Because I saw them struggling. And I go, "No." Oh, okay, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I just was trying to offer my help. You don't want help, that's fine. You want to be nasty about it, that's fine. Then go be nasty in your own way. I'm not helping you. But
Yeah.
some people don't want it. Some people
No.
want it.
So
Just be a
someone
good
wrote,
person.
who is complaining about people running their generators? And I think we all know restaurants are probably destroyed or closed. Well, first of all, I had nothing to say about the restaurants being destroyed or closed. Of course, they're destroyed and closed. If they were on the Gulf, they are probably obliterated. Most of them
Yeah.
are. Of course, they're closed because they have no refrigeration, no electrician. They probably don't even have walls. And then inland, they're closed because they don't have refrigeration and because we haven't had power for days. So that's a given. The people that are complaining about people running generators are the ones who don't have generators and can hear
Correct.
them because their windows are open. So those are the
Correct.
people, to answer your question. I mean, why would you even post that and ask that?
Yeah.
I was just like looking at it going, what is wrong with you? I'm not making it up. I actually had a patient say that to me today. Now I had to get to listen to or whatever. I was just like, yep, I got one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Then someone posted, I personally would opt for a painless and swift death if it was an easy option instead of working till I die.
What?
Yeah, well, it takes all kinds.
Okay, look, I have no words for that one. I'm
I
sorry. Move
just,
on. Next.
I did, but I had to read that to you because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like,
Next. I can't with that one. I
so then
can't.
this person wrote, no one really knows what the other people are going through. It does feel a little sad when some people are always complaining, but you don't know if they went through a hurricane that actually did take their home. It doesn't matter if they went through a hurricane that actually took their home
Right.
because thousands of people lost their homes.
Yeah.
What matters, you're complaining about your neighbors, her in the same boat as you.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be there for your neighbor.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
you know.
That's lost. All of that is lost from
Yeah,
umpteen years ago.
you
I think,
know.
and it's still getting worse, progressively worse throughout these years that we're coming. Everybody is so selfish. Everybody is so self-centered. Um, they don't care about their neighbors anymore. They don't care about people anymore.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
And it makes me sad to even see that this world is headed that way, unfortunately.
It's already there.
It is, but it's headed more so. Like it's
Yeah.
getting substantially worse.
Um, Someone wrote, I'm just tired of being afraid. That makes me unhappy. So again, I wasn't really going towards political, but here we go. It's this election in the US is bringing back COVID trauma for me personally. Worked through the pandemic because the doctors, nurses, and emergency staff needed someone to watch their kids. You like my expressions? I'm so sorry. Everything's pretty much on my face.
I know.
Those parents in our group of daycare workers had a lot of fear of catching it and dying. Now, it's if we don't stop the crazies taking over the asylum, there is a big chance that a lot of people will start dying again for obvious reasons, just like when in the US, at least the first wave of women dying here. As a woman, I'm setting up getting my tubes removed just in case shit goes south. Well, first of all, from your answer, I think you should. Sorry, I'm going to hell.
Wait. Oh my God. Like this,
I
like
don't even
these.
know what to say to this
No,
without
I
being
don't.
really mean and cold-hearted. I just, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know
I,
what's going on there.
and, well, I'm thinking these people are focused on something that they really shouldn't be
They need to
focusing on.
turn off
Like,
the news and stop
yes,
listening to the politics of everything.
exactly.
Everyone's making everything into politics,
It
and I'm
is.
sorry, science is science. So, and I know no different than if you have a bad cold or a flu or COVID, based on your health history, especially like you need to be careful with what you're
Correct.
exposed to and catch yourself get caught
Correct.
get
But you
catching
can't
and
be,
expose yourself, but you cannot live in that kind of fear. You're not living.
oh,
And if you're
no,
planning on removing your tubes
for that
because
purpose.
that's what her answer is, I
Yeah.
feel you need some therapy, honey.
Yes,
I'm
please.
so sorry.
We're not
I,
trying to be like Shar said,
Belittling or
mean or
mean or
belittling,
nasty,
but
but
you need to
this is
step out of
very
this little
wrong.
bubble.
And if
Yeah.
this is what watching the news and politics and all the stuff that people are feeding into your brain, and now you want to know why I don't watch the news. I watch what's important. Like when I know there's a hurricane coming
Yes.
and it's coming here or close to here, like Irma and stuff, I have
That's
Dennis on
important.
24/7 and I'm
That's
glued to
important.
him. So I do watch the news. I binge watch it, I guess you could
Yeah.
say.
Well, you have to in that
I do
sense.
not sit here and listen to all this other stuff
Yeah. No,
that the
that
media
was
puts out.
nonsense.
It gets to be a bit much, and then you're basing your days and your life off of it. And I'm sorry. I know things are important. I know elections are important. I'm not saying that, but you need to do your research. Yeah, I was raised. You keep your politics and religions to yourself, and this is
That's
why.
it. That's exactly
This
right.
is why
Same.
everyone feels the right to post their thoughts, feelings, opinions, bash people because they have social media. If that's what you're using social media for, do all of us a favor who don't use it for that. Please get off and exit.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's not what it's used for
It's
anyway.
not what it's supposed to be for. And this is
No.
what makes the country divided. So I think sometimes old-fashioned thoughts and advice is good. Don't discuss politics and religion. It's one thing if you and I, Pascal, in a room together are discussing it and we have an agreement. It's
hmm
another to get on Facebook and stir the pot
Well,
and
yeah,
then
of
feel the
course.
need to attack other people. It's a messed up thought
Well, I have
process for
some
me.
people on my Facebook that do that. They just
Oh,
want to keep
yeah, I
posting
know.
and posting and
I
posting.
see
And I'm
every
like,
day.
oh, dear God.
And we have a few keyboard warriors. I'm like, oh my God, no one's taken away your keyboard yet.
Yes.
Please do.
Yes.
Please do. Because
Yes.
I'm exhausted watching your BS.
Yeah.
I'm a big girl. I can do my own research.
And
can
that's
ask
why I don't post too
questions.
much on
I
there
I post
because,
family and stuff and
well,
dogs and
important
stuff.
things to you,
Yeah, but
you
I
know.
don't post that stuff that's just going to
No.
stir the pot
Mhm.
and create issues because honestly, I don't have the energy to deal. I have better things to do with my time. If you have that kind of time, you need a job. If you
I
don't have
have a
any
job for
job,
you.
you can get a part-time job. If you,
I
if
have
you
a
have a
job.
part-time job and you're still stirring the pot and getting on there being a keyboard warrior, maybe you need a full-time job.
Exactly.
Or a hobby. And no, it's not to be mean and insulting. It's what
No,
divides
it's
the
not.
country.
Correct.
And people are
Correct.
dividing the country because they're doing this stuff. Just quietly do
Correct.
your thing and vote your own thing. Anyone's like,
Yeah.
I have a right. You have a right to your opinion, thoughts, feelings. You don't have the right to cram it down other people's throats.
No, you
So
don't.
when you post that meme on your Facebook page, but that's what you're doing, you're not taking your own advice.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just, I watch it and I just thought, oh my gosh, these people.
Oh, I know. I
I'm so
know.
busy at work during the day. I don't got time for this.
I know,
And I'm
right?
mentally tired when I get home. I just don't care.
No.
I do me. So when
Yeah.
people say, do you, that's part of it.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm sure there's some people going, I don't like you saying that. Well, I don't care. I really
I'm
just
still
don't
doing
care.
me.
I'm still doing me.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone wrote, I think a lot of people are in survival mode and their central nervous systems are fried. It's really hard to show up happy when your body is fighting a war. Gratitude does not come easily for everyone. Sometimes it's a big ass struggle for some to get there. Some never get there though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of really happy people in the world as well. Not as easy to find sometimes, depending on where you are and what you're going through. Well, when someone again gets on Facebook that you're acquaintance with and decides to complain, they're not hard to find. They're putting it right out there.
Yeah, exactly.
They're showing us. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. And I just thought if you cannot be there, I was so shocked to see the first post about complaining about generators on someone's page. I mean, it was their
Mhm.
personal page. I was just like, wow.
Right. That's all you have to focus on.
Wow. Really? Like it
Yeah.
never occurred to me during Irma to be angry that they had generators. I was angry at myself for not being smart enough to get a
To
generator.
get a generator, yeah. Different thought process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, I'm not doing this again. I'm getting a generator.
Right. No, it's a different thought process. Some people just are obscene about their thoughts. So,
you know, someone wrote, everyone's negative experiences seem major to them. That's true. Some people lack gratitude. Some aren't aware that things could be worse until things get worse. Complaining doesn't mean people are unhappy. That's just they're unsatisfied with certain things in their life. There's a lot of things I'm unsatisfied about with my life.
right.
Check my feed.
Yeah. But does that make you an unhappy person?
You know what? I have a good time at work. I really like where I'm at right now as far as what we went through and having to get to where we're at. And I'm very fortunate to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor today made the big announcement that I'm his supervisor for all the front desk people and stuff and what that entails. And I got my little raise for it and stuff. I'm definitely not going to have as much responsibility as if I had done something like that at DCMG. And I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very good with that. I don't have to worry about people's payroll. I have someone for that. I don't have to worry about PTO requests. I have someone for that and coordinating everyone's PTO requests and trying to make everyone happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's one reason I didn't ever want to apply for that job at DCMG when I was asked. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, it's a different animal.
Yeah.
And it's just my front desk people. So there's currently 6 of us. There's going to be a few more. A few might be leaving that was a different conversation today. Anyways, so, I'm very, very fortunate where I landed. I've had some serious negative experiences all right in a row. Within a 6-week time, my life changed drastically in the past. And not once was I nasty to anybody.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's why that comment does not make crazy sense to me.
We all have bad days.
We all have stressors. We all have issues.
We all have issues. We all have something going on all the time. That does not mean you get to take it out on other people. And that then again does not mean you get to go on your social media platform
It's the
and
same.
complain about your
Yes.
neighbors. It's the same thing.
Correct.
So we all have things we're unsatisfied about. Trust me, I got a list. Pascal's aware of the list.
Yes.
She's got a list too. We
So
compare
are you
lists.
as mine. Yes.
You know. But
Yeah. But that doesn't
I
give you
also laugh throughout the day.
ticket
I have
to
some
be
great
like,
patients. I have some great coworkers.
yeah.
And I have moments of stress involved, but this too shall pass, as it all
Hmm.
does. And I don't take it out on anybody.
Yeah,
So
it's not a hall pass to be a nasty person. Sorry.
no, it's not a hall pass. Your feelings are normal. How you handle them could be normal or not normal.
Exactly.
And then someone wrote, nobody knows what other people are going through. Life is full of hardship. Well, of course, life is full of
It
hardship.
is. Yeah, true.
You're not living life if you have no hardship. I'm sorry.
Correct. Yeah.
You know.
I mean, for Christ's sake, even the rich people have it too. So it's not
No,
just one conglomerate group of people. It's all
no,
people.
it's all people. We had and still currently are a pandemic. Ever since 2020, it's always been that way, it seems. Also, inflation, not affording food, working more than 2 jobs, politics, can't afford to buy a house. So, yeah, of course, we're unhappy. A lot, myself included, of people are suffering through burnout. And I am in the same boat. However, maybe I just handle things a little better or differently than others.
Hmm.
Not to say better, but I must handle them differently because I just kind of keep it to myself and I think about it and I try to come up with a game plan.
Well, you
So,
see, and I think that's where you are a little bit different than most of these people who are writing in. Most of these people who are writing in, it's like they don't have that critical thinking or coming up with that game plan to do or to go or move forward from where they're at. Like, because we're all unhappy at some point in time. Okay.
yeah, it's a normal
And
motion.
multiple times. I'm sure throughout our entire life. Okay. More than multiple times. But like I said earlier, it doesn't give you the out or the hall pass to be a nasty dick or a nasty asshole bitch to anybody else in this world. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. I mean, and I'll give you the scenario right now that's going on in my country, Lebanon. People are dying, buildings are coming down. People are still carrying on in their everyday works. And
Well,
there's
they have
bombing
to.
and shooting and everything
Yeah.
else. So come on.
Yeah. It's like my esthetician, her family. They're in Ukraine. And she
Exactly.
keeps trying to get them out. And they're just like, nope, they won't leave. And they're
Hmm.
going to work and they're doing their thing. And they
Hmm.
only have power a few hours at night. And, and that's just how they've been living for over a year now.
Hmm.
And, this is our home. You know what?
We've been living like that for years. Every day the
Yeah.
power goes off in Lebanon
Yeah.
for 5 hours at a time.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
Every day.
yeah, Tatiana says her family only has it like 2 to 3 hours at night in the
Hmm.
evening. And that's it,
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's always someone that has it worse.
Mm.
Um,
Exactly. But that doesn't give, but you see what I'm saying is all through
mhm.
all these hardships through everybody around the world, you have different countries that are not being nasty to each other. They're helping each other out,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
through all their
Um,
difficulties.
yeah. People are always unhappy now, 10, 30, 50 years ago. The only difference that was that back then there was no social media to share your unhappiness with the world. And that is so true.
Very
And that
true.
is what I am saying. But why would you want to get on social media and express certain things about yourself? I mean, would you not think you're coming across as a hoity-toity, spoiled person of some sort? And
Exactly.
like I would never, if I was angry at the neighbor's generator, I'm certainly not going to go on social media and post it and make myself look ridiculous and be verbally attacked.
Well,
I mean,
don't think like that.
Why are we not drawing that line?
Well, some people just are post happy. They just love to post constantly all the time, everything that they're doing. I mean, as far as, okay, I'm going to the bathroom, wiping my butt now, here I go.
Please don't post that.
No, don't post that ever. But I'm just saying, like, they're just
Please.
post happy,
Yeah.
because maybe they're, like you said before and earlier, maybe they're sitting at home doing absolutely nothing and need to go get a job.
Someone wrote, I don't think people are more unhappy in life, but we have more space and language to complain about what's happening in our lives. Besides that, people are overwhelmed by all sorts of information of what is happening in the world, all while they actually have to maintain their lives, go to work, take care of their family, loved ones, and themselves. Life is too much sometimes. Well, we all know life is too much sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But by the same token, you're an adult and you have to handle things. And you are
That's right.
responsible for how you handle things.
No, that's right.
Yes, we're all overwhelmed. This is why people are like, well, why don't you Google it? When I Google something, I get 50 million answers, and
Oh my God, I
then you
know.
got to sort through it. I don't have
Right?
patience for it.
Mm.
That's not what I want. That's not what I'm looking for. When I'm looking for an answer, trying to narrow something down, um, I find that too much information is not always good,
No, I
and
agree.
it does get overwhelming. But by the same token, you need to help your fellow mankind. That's still, you
That's
know,
still a thing. That's
people are
still a
always
thing.
finding something to be unhappy about, was my point. Just,
Well, and some people do it just to do it, just to be
yeah,
unhappy,
I
just
just,
to be bitchy and unhappy. They just don't care. It doesn't matter to them. They just want to be miserable. I have
so,
people who come into work, they just want to be miserable.
yeah.
That's just their way of thinking or their way of dealing with everyday life. They just want to be miserable bastards. And I'm not, I
Tell
don't
us how
want to
you
be
feel.
yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. Can you
No,
imagine like all the negativity every day, what that's going to do to a person?
no.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, thank
Someone
you.
wrote, there's a hypothesis I've heard that gut health is a part of it. Childhood vaccines, antibiotics, and sterilized food has greatly decreased our mortality rate and helped our health, but has killed a lot of good gut bacteria, which oddly enough helps our serotonin levels. Also, in an age of relative comfort and prosperity in certain countries, the internet has allowed us a wealth of knowledge, possibilities, and the ability to keep up with people. Infinite possibilities are everywhere, and that can give you a constant feeling of anxiety, made worse by the blue lights of phones and decreased melatonin. There is there is also the constant bad news we hear from media because negative news drives more interactions, leading to engagement through companies can point to increase the revenue. Friends and influences who made the right decisions, right was in parentheses, can add to this as we wonder why we aren't doing enough. So bad diet, bad habits brought on by negative culture norms that I believe are beginning to shift as we learn more about them. So I'm a big health I'm a health nut. I have some friends that are more of a health nut than me.
Yeah.
I am supplement queen. I think I take 13 supplements in the morning, about 4 to 6 at night. And I had my lab results today and I read them. I see my doctor next week, but I can read them, so I'm good. Anyway, so he's always like, "Did you read them? Did you compare?" I'm like, "Of course I did." Yeah, I'm like, "How are you?" He's like, "I'm good, thanks."
And that's why we have portals.
That's right. I logged into my Baker portal. I know what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there is something to be said for gut health and well-being. It's all connected, your brain, all that stuff. It's connected. But there are people who take good care of themselves and they still have this little negative, nasty attitude.
Hmm.
And,
They
you
do.
know, the patient I had today is in good health because I can read
Yeah.
and I understand terminology. So, um, it's more than that. I was brought up, I remember the TV dinner came out. That was a big to do. Everyone had to have a TV dinner. Look at this little metal pan and all
Yeah.
this, shit in it.
Right. Literally.
Literally, did we know? you know, and there's a lot of health food stores now where truly not like a GNC health food store, like a real health food store where you go in the veggies and all that organic and all that stuff. So there's something to be said for that. But I grew up on all that. I was vaccinated the same as everyone else growing up because that's what
Hmm.
we were told to do. They had us do back then,
Yeah.
and whatnot. Do I do extra vaccines like flu, pneumonia, COVID? Absolutely not. I have a great strong immune system. And it's probably because I ate dirt when I was little or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who
Well,
knows?
I do get all those vaccines because I
Yeah.
do not have. I'm opposite of
Correct.
you, but I have
Yeah.
a
You have
medical condition, so
different
that's
medical history than me.
correct.
So
Yeah.
everyone needs to do what's best for them and make decisions based on what's best for you, where it doesn't involve
Correct.
everyone else's opinion.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm not going to tell people what may be going on with me medically unless you're super close to me. It's
Exactly.
not everyone's business,
Correct.
and I don't share with everyone anything anyway. So, if I share anything personal with you, it's because I value you as a person and I respect you and
Mm-hmm.
I trust you with it. If I'm not really sharing certain things with you, it's because I question certain things
Sure.
and it's earned. So, so I understand what she's saying. And gut health, they say our health is in our gut. So, I do the probiotics. I do digestive enzymes. I do.
Well, I think
Especially when
I'm
I know
about
I'm
to get
going
on that train with you
when
because
I
I'm.
go when I go out to Taco Tuesday, I take a couple of digestive enzymes before going because I know
Oh
it's going to be
yes.
heavy food and I'm going to have great regret later. In the sense that I just feel like I put on 5 pounds. So, it
And your
doesn't really
bottom.
affect me, yeah, it makes the hips wider. Anyways, it doesn't
No,
bother
no,
me.
not the hips wider, my bottom.
Your
My
bottom.
going to the bathroom.
Oh, no,
That's
that's
what
not
I
what I
mean.
meant. I wasn't going there. No, I wasn't
Yeah.
going there.
For me, like
When
that,
I
that's
eat
terrible.
bread, when I eat bread or something carby and heavy, because I typically don't eat that way, I feel it. It tanks my
Oh, of
energy.
course.
It tanks
Yes.
me. It doesn't affect me
It's a
any other way.
carb.
So,
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate and I take care of my genetics. I have good genetics and I'm fortunate that I take care of them. So I know to take care of them. And I think the world is changing. A lot of people are going more towards that because they've learned.
Mm-hmm.
Americans are always in a hurry. We want it now. We
Oh,
want it
yes.
yesterday. We
Yes.
want instant gratification. And, it's got to slow down.
And
So,
that's what I tell them when they come to my restaurant because they want the food so fast, like in 5 minutes. I have to remind them this is homemade food here, buddy.
yeah.
It's not processed food. Everything is bought every week fresh.
Yeah.
I don't process anything. All the meats are fresh, everything.
Yeah.
Okay, minus one or two, cans here and there. Of course, it's not 100%, but
Yeah.
those are minor things. But I'm talking about like when I'm cooking the food, it's gonna take 20 minutes to cook, dude. Like it's a
Yeah.
fresh food. It's not frozen.
Yeah.
It's like so. Yeah, I'm
You know,
sorry.
I
I'm
mean,
not sorry, but
people are, and people that, if you want to be healthy, you got to get on the bandwagon because time's ticking,
yeah.
you know, and stuff. I sleep well, even in the heat, apparently. Mama likes her sleep. She always has. And I'm fortunate that I don't suffer through any of that stuff at this time. So
Well, that's good, and I hope you remain like that.
I do
So,
too. I
yeah.
do too.
I'm about
Uh,
to change my diet and my
but let's
everything
get to
because
it, dear, because we have to go on a cruise. I got to look at
oh
those.
yes.
I got to look at
Yes.
those. Yeah, we're going to look at
Yes.
those in the next
I'm
day or
gonna
two. I'm
do
going to
it.
look at
Yeah.
those. Someone wrote, unfortunately, yes, I am now. And I wonder how people are so happy.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it
she's
comes from you.
unhappy.
It comes
Yes.
from you.
Yes. You have to control that.
So you
That
got
is
to figure
something you have
out.
control over.
Yes, that's one thing you have control over is yourself. Your
Mm-hmm.
behavior, your actions, your choices, your words is one thing you have complete control over.
Correct.
You know.
Correct. So if you choose to be unhappy, then you will be unhappy.
Yep. So someone else wrote, I don't think people are any more unhappy than they were previously. We just didn't have social media to the 2000s, and even then, MySpace was used very differently than modern social media. I think I created a MySpace account and never went on it again, so I don't even remember.
I did too. Yeah, I don't even remember
don't
what
know.
mine is.
I don't
To
even
be
know.
honest, I have no idea.
Social media gives people a voice and allows you to consume it. You talk about people who aren't in Florida complain about things, which one you wouldn't have access to without social media or media in general. Without social media, you would only know what your family, friends, and locals know and hear as well as traditional media. Well, of course.
Yes.
Of course. I also did not post this on Facebook or anyplace else. I just posted it on Reddit, a Reddit platform,
Mm-hmm.
the Reddit platform in a group.
Yeah.
Two, I think we forget that people can still be having a rough time in their own lives without going through a hurricane, natural disaster. I have always hated the mentality of, well, someone has it worse, so suck it up. Well, someone always does have it worse, dear.
Yeah, it does. I'm
You
sorry.
know,
Yeah, it
medically, because
does.
I work in the medical field. So when I say someone has it worse, my mind immediately goes to medical
Yeah.
and health issues, not hurricanes
Right.
or tornadoes.
Right.
One can feel frustrated, unhappy, disappointed about their life, but also empathetic, have empathy to those who lost things in a hurricane. Emotions are layered and don't just disappear the minute you start to feel another thing.
I mean, it's true. Emotions are layered. I believe in that too.
Oh,
Yes. But
absolutely.
at the same time, like, does that, again, here we are. The question is, why are people unhappy? And what's the reason of their being unhappiness, or nasty to other
Yeah.
people, you know? Like
Yeah.
we said earlier, there's a lot of stressors in this world that cause us to feel different emotions on a daily basis, but that doesn't give us a right to be nasty to others.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all human beings, we're all struggling for the same purpose.
Correct.
There's no difference between you. No matter if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're wherever you are in this world. Doesn't matter.
So, she's talking about, well, someone has it worse, so suck it up. So the perfect example of that is when my daughter was little, she had one ear infection after another, and her eardrum ruptured once, which, when an eardrum ruptures, it's like taking an ink pen and just making a dot. It's this tiny
Yes.
little, but if it ruptures too many times in the same spot, you get a percentage of hearing loss.
Correct.
So we can never get the fluid out of one ear, and we did once with steroids. And she was little. She was tubed at 18 months. So this is prior to 18 months. You can't keep them on steroids; they're little.
Mm-hmm.
So we tubed her at 18 months. Well, that's when she started talking. So we should have rethought that. But anyways,
You're like, oh damn.
Here's my baby, and she's gonna go and be put under and be tubed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just beside myself because she's my baby. And
of course.
Granted, now you have a grandson who has much bigger issues, but at the time, my baby's 26 now. I am all worked up and upset. And there's a mom in the waiting room with her baby, and they were there for open heart surgery. If that doesn't put things for her baby, same age as my daughter, into perspective and make you think, oh, shut up. It's just tubes, but I've not been through anything.
Of course. You were young at the time too. Yeah.
I was 25 when I had her. And, I had not been through anything. And this lady was probably 4 or 5 years older, and had one other kid, but they had been dealing with this one's health issues from birth.
Mm-hmm.
So the procedure she was having done on her heart was normal to the mother. I'd probably be just a basket case,
Right. True.
I was young and I didn't know, and I sat there and thought, oh geez,
Yeah, I know.
It's, I would be an absolute,
Yeah, nobody knows.
And by the same
on.
token, I'm grateful, that for me, it was just only tubes, and I'm sorry they were going through all of that.
Right.
But it puts it into perspective because we're human. We all react.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, like a previous comment before, each person reacts differently to how they deal with things in their life. And it's up to you whether you create those moments and try to turn them into positive things and make yourself, maybe you might not be super happy person, but at least have a goal, have something to look forward to. Think about something that is positive that's going to move you forward rather than keeping you stuck being an unhappy person. And then, which turn around, makes you a nasty person to other people. So you have to think of the positive no matter even how low you've hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to think about it.
Well, there's up.
Yeah.
So there are times I have moments where I feel sorry for myself just because I'm exhausted, but I always know there's up and I get over it quickly.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I have
Yeah.
my
But
moments,
it's
and
again
you've heard
human.
me on the
Yeah.
phone so many
Yeah.
times.
It's
It's for
human.
that day or for
Yeah.
that moment.
Yep. We're
Then you
human.
move on. Yeah.
And it's why we have all these emotions and feelings. So,
Yeah.
but by the same token, my question was geared towards what I was currently experiencing. Just, I didn't suffer like others have
Hmm.
suffered. I didn't lose like others have lost.
Sure.
And yet, you're looking online and all these pictures people are posting their whole life out at the curb. And
Yeah.
then you're whining about the generator.
Right.
I
I
just,
know.
I just can't. I mean,
I know.
I just,
Perspectives
it's,
are all different.
this isn't medical. This
Yeah.
is just a generator.
Life. Yeah. Well, this is life.
People trying to cope with what they have to deal with next. So, that's bigger. So, I don't know. I didn't know people could be so abrasive or mean spirited until I joined Reddit. Honestly, there are some lovely communities, and even in those communities, there are people who will go out of their way to say something nasty for no reason. I'm assuming that's their own personal unhappiness talking. I'd probably agree with that.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good way of saying it.
You know, that's true. People feel entitled, even entitled to feel happy. I think lots of people in North America have this notion of what they should be feeling or getting or what they deserve. Reality is, it's not how it works. Just because you wish to be happy or you think you deserve happiness doesn't make it true. Well, that's true.
That's
Adversity,
true.
though, that will surely help you count your blessings quick. I'm happy every single day, and even when something goes sideways, I remember how truly bad it could be. Then I move on. People focus too much on what they don't have and don't take enough time to appreciate what they do have.
There you go. That's exactly what we were talking about earlier. So, very similar. Very similar. That's true. Their focus is only on completely being unhappy if that's what they are, or being happy if that's what they are. So, but then you get these people that be like, oh, why are you so happy? Like, why can't I be happy? Is that disturbing you? Like,
Right? And
I
for
don't get
some, the
it.
answer is yes.
It is, yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
So someone wrote, you're better off in many ways. In 2022, 11% of living in poverty, over 20% in 1960. My family was one of those.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Oh, I thought there was more. Okay.
No, that's it.
All right.
Well, you're not comparing apples to apples either.
No. This is a long time ago. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to like be
You
like,
know, first of all, I wasn't here in 1960. I just want to clarify.
neither was I.
Right.
I'm not diminishing the fact that they did not live through a rough time or anything like that, and that's
Correct.
fine. But we are in different times
But
right
when I
now.
posted the question, it was specifically geared towards what was happening here in Florida right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't political. It
Yeah.
wasn't, from 1960.
Right.
It wasn't the fact, it had nothing to do with being overworked and underpaid.
Yeah.
It was just people reaching out
To
to
help one
others
another.
to help one another.
Yes.
Strictly it.
That's it.
That's it.
Well, you
And
know
you
what?
see
You
where everyone's
see,
mind goes.
I was just
Because
gonna
they're
say that.
watching too much TV,
Ugh,
it's
and
like they're
reading too much crap.
reprogramming, themselves to just everything's got to be political, everything's got to be religious, everything's got to be. That's just not the way it all works. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Well, if you take half of whatever social media is on, it's either political or religious, if you look at it
Yeah,
properly. Unfortunately, that's how society is right now.
yeah,
And it shouldn't be.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but like you said, everybody has their moments for their own opinions. Keep those opinions to yourself. If they are ignorant opinion, I don't know how else to say it. If they're ignorant opinions, I mean, there's no point to post them. Just keep them to yourself or tell them within your group of friends who probably believe the same way as you believe in. Other
well,
than that,
here's the thing. If you're upset at someone's generator because they lost everything and you're sitting there with no AC and you can hear them, you
mm-hmm.
can go somewhere and rent a hotel.
Yeah.
if you can find a room.
Put earplugs in.
You could put earplugs in.
Wear headphones.
I mean, it never once occurred to me back during Irma to complain about anyone's generator. All I thought was, damn, I wish I had a generator.
Yeah.
That's all I thought.
Well, but
Where's
see,
the
you're
generator
looking
fairy?
ahead. You're looking ahead. They're looking at the here and now and all this noise that's God forbidding bugging them in their ear right now.
Well, you know, and it was to me really wild because again, when you have no power, there's nothing as black as black.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no street lights. It's just black. So during
Mm-hmm.
Irma, it was completely black at night.
Yeah.
All we had were the flashlights on the phone. I would run across the street and use Mark's generator to charge it. He left it in the garage and I could just run in and plug it in. And you're looking out into blackness and all you
Yeah.
hear is the hum of all these generators all over. I thought, well, listen to all that. You know,
Right.
I was like, and look at all the people who had brains to get a generator.
Right. Exactly. That's my thought. That's my thought exactly.
And I'm sitting there
Would be.
going,
I'm
damn
definitely
it.
getting one.
Right? You know, and then complained about the gas lines. And then, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
we're all in the same boat. So we need to be considerate of one another.
Yeah. Be kind to one another. I mean, we're all headed where we need to be headed in a certain direction. And you just, be nicer. This world is like vicious nowadays.
It is vicious. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people have come together
Yeah.
during this time, but it's like Dennis Phillips. I was listening to him before we started the podcast tonight, and tonight's Monday. We are late. It's the 14th, but I had
Mm-hmm.
power problems. I can only plug so much into the generator.
Right, exactly.
And sport items, by the way.
Yeah.
And you know, and then Pascal wasn't here for she had a wedding. So he's like, you know, it's great to see so many people come together, but he's like, boy, now we have intersections all around me where some of the lights are
Mm-hmm.
working and some are not. And the sheriff's department's put out stop signs, that, you know, because people seem to not remember that when a
How
light
to
is
drive?
out, when a light
That
is
it means
out,
stop?
that it means use it as a four-way stop, not a
Correct.
free-for-all.
Correct.
So during Helene, I was trying to get out of my neighborhood over here, and I was scared to go because people were using it as a free-for-all. And there were a couple times I was like, I should have gone because it was my turn, but I don't think they knew that. You know?
Oh
I
my
called the
God.
sheriff's department. So when I came back this way, they had come out and put out the stop signs. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
it. Because I
Yeah.
called. I'm like, it's like a free-for-all. And
Yeah.
so now at major intersections, it's not only that, they have some cones blocked off turn lanes because people don't know how to navigate those. And there's not enough deputies to babysit the beaches to keep
Sure.
people from getting into people's stuff and navigate the lights out from Milton. You know, we're just out of people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so they put up stop signs and people are getting better. But Dennis was laughing. He's like, man, they're just like going for it.
Oh, they are. It is. You're right.
You know,
Oh, lights aren't
you know,
working.
so you go
Okay.
through one intersection, there's no light. The next one works. The next one, there's nothing except the stop sign.
Exactly.
You're trying, you know,
Right.
you're navigating it. So then they got out. Yeah, they had the thought to be like, okay, let's cut off the turn lane. So now you got to go
Sure.
past Dewey Huey, which is safer than trying to get through 8 lanes of traffic with the turn lane. It's just
Sure.
like,
Absolutely. It's ridiculous.
it's like
My
sometimes I
goodness.
just do that on a good day, you know, because I'm like, I'm not dealing
Right.
with that mess. I don't know what they're doing over there. I'm just gonna go do with the UE and pop out over here. I'm fine. I've been T-boned.
Oh my
Someone read a
God.
red light the day before my 16th birthday and hit. Yeah, so it took me a little bit to get over that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, so I won't do it. So
No, I don't
so when
blame
I'm
you.
like, someone's like, run an errand and go get me this, I'm like, I get out to the light, I'm like, oh damn, it's still out.
Right.
Shit. I want to go home. I don't want to navigate this.
No.
These guys are
I
nuts.
would have
They
just
don't know how to
Instacarted
treat it
it.
like a four-way stop. You know?
Yeah. I'd be on my phone Instacarting it. Come on
Well, it's not
over.
necessarily groceries, so it's sometimes, you know, I can't Instacart gas or I would have.
Oh, that no, you cannot. Sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
like 2 5-gallon.
Yeah, no, that you can't.
Because the
Unfortunately.
minute I can, I'll be the first to do it. Prepping for the next one.
Right? No shit. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So
Yeah.
anyways, it's just, you know, so it was just
Yeah.
funny. I asked that question just as a general comment, and it's just how much
How
It's
wild
just,
it got.
it gets a little wild. People get a little
Yeah, it
wild, but
literally got
I think
wild.
that is because some of them spend too much time
Thinking
looking
about
at
it.
certain stuff online. Well, I think
Yeah.
they
They
just,
overthink.
yeah.
It's a overthink. Overthinking. Don't think too hard about things. Just take them
Overthinking
as they
is as
come.
bad as not thinking at all.
Well, no kidding. No kidding. Use your brains, but don't overthink shit. That's
Right.
all. That's all.
So that was it, my dear. That's
Well,
just
that's good though. It's nice to see different people's perspectives, but I will leave you with, be kind to others, be kind to people. Let's not make this world where we are against each other. Um, we need to come together, especially during hardships, especially during the hurricanes and things like that that you have went through these past 2 weeks. And it's not easy, and nobody says that it's going to be easy. But at the same time, if we don't get together and we don't collaborate on these things, we don't get the work done. And it's going to take some time to get the work done. So be patient.
be
That's it.
kind.
Be kind and
Yeah.
patient.
I love when people post be kind online, but then they do a different post.
Yeah, but then
complaining
they put about
something.
generators.
Yeah, right.
Be kind to everyone. Oh,
And
those
then I'll be
damn
like, take note
generators.
of your previous post, please.
Right. Oh, those damn generators, fuckers. Why are they so
They're
damn loud?
lawnmowers. They sound like lawnmowers,
They
for the love of
do. They
God.
do. They do. Shut your windows. Put
Right?
earphones on. Yeah, do something.
Do something
Go
else.
do something else. Yeah. Thank
But
you guys.
get on social media.
Exactly. Exactly. We thank everybody for listening to us, each and every one of you. We appreciate all your comments. And if you have any other comments that you would like to put down, please leave them down below and Char will get back to them. Also, if you have any other topic that you would like us to talk about, we take into consideration, write that down as well, and Char will get back to you on that. Otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to you. And stay safe and be kind.
So you can find us on Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, Apple, Google, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeart, Deezer. We are Instagramming, TikTok, and Facebook, and YouTubing, Patreon. I think that's it.
Yes, that's it. Yep, you hit them all.
I think that's it. And I think that's plenty at this time.
That is plenty, yes.
It was good seeing you again, my friend.
You too. And we'll see you on Friday.
It's date night.
It is date night. Friday is date night. And I will see you then. Always
Yes,
a pleasure.
Always.
All right.
Always.
Have
I miss
a great
our nights.
Night. I do too. Yes.
When it doesn't work out. So you have a
It's
great
okay.
rest of your night.
We figure it out. Yep.
Yeah, we do. We figured out. We promise to get back on the regular schedule, minus hurricanes and weddings.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Knock on wood.
Stay tuned
For the hurricane part.
Stay tuned.
And none of us want that.
No more hurricanes, please.
I know I'm done. So anyways,
Yeah.
That's it, my dear.
All right. Have a great night.
You too. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.